Hello and welcome to Shell Point Today for Monday, March 23rd. I'm Adam Brown. On today's show, we'll learn about Adrian Kier's Academy class on Pompeii and how 18th century excavations opened a window into Roman life. And we'll look back at a musical event that took place last week at the King's Crown that's also coming to the Arbor this week. But first, we want to remind you that the Dragon Boat informational meeting is this afternoon. This could be your chance to race in the Sun Coast International Dragon Boat Festival coming in May. If you are interested in participating, then you are urged to attend today's meeting. There is no paddling experience required for this fun 26-member team-building event. The meeting will be held at the Social Center on the island at 1:15 p.m. Tonight is the spring dance in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands. Shine your dancing shoes for a night of fun as you swing and sing to all the songs you know and love. The fancy footwork begins at 7 p.m., so don't miss out on this boppin' good time. Another musical good time is coming to the Village Church tomorrow night. It's the Shell Point Singers Spring Concert. And to add more power to the punch, they are teaming up with the Bonita Bay Singers as more than 140 voices unite in this collaborative concert. You will enjoy the music as the singers celebrate times and places of travel, all sprinkled with a little romance. No ticket is required, and all are welcome to enjoy this wonderful musical experience that begins at 7:15. Tomorrow is the Library Book Talk in the Social Center on the island. Richard Curtin of Paul Makers will review the best-selling book, Being Mortal, Medicine and What Matters in the End, by Dr. Atul Gawande. Discussion will follow the review and refreshments will be served. Again, that's at the Social Center tomorrow at 2:15. Now, if you didn't get enough Shamrock Green last week, then you'll want to come to the Do You Know Your Neighbor event this Wednesday. This fun, interactive social event will have you reminiscing about the beautiful country of Ireland. If you've ever lived, traveled to, or had an interest in Ireland, then head over to the Social Center at 2:15 on Wednesday. And to get you in the mood, you can enjoy some beautiful bagpipe music over at the Arbor tomorrow. The pipes of the British Isles begin playing at 3 p.m. Actually, we got an up-close review of the Scottish and Irish tunes last week when we stopped by the King's Crown.
How'd you like the bagpipes this morning?
I loved it. I loved it. Excellent. But I just love the music, you know. He's very good at what he does.
I'm from Canada, but I just loved it. I loved the whole I mean, I would have never had a chance to hear them. I mean, I'm sure I didn't even when I was.
And he's good. You know, there's a lot of amateur bagpipers, but he's really good, isn't he?
He really was. I wouldn't have missed him. You know, at first I thought, oh, well, I don't know that I remember what bagpipe sounded like, but I'm so glad I came.
And I'm from Pennsylvania, and he was talking about being Pennsylvania, but I missed him there.
Well, you caught up with him down here in Florida.
Finally.
Well, I tell you, I wouldn't miss him this morning because my wife passed away. She's buried at the Rock Island Arsenal in Moline, Illinois, and we had bagpipers at her funeral because she's Scotch.
Okay. So tell us how long you've been playing the pipes.
I've been playing since '96. I have an interest in early and classical music, and I like broadside ballads and early pub music from all over Europe from the 15 and 1600s. So, you know, kind of casual music you found best in a tavern.
Yeah, casual. That's what I'm always casually listening to.
A little bit of
So
courtly.
you said you do this professionally? Are you a professional
I do.
bagpiper?
I'm a professional. And I do this for a living. Thank the Lord. It has been a tough time in the recession, and this is the one creative service as a visual artist that I actually could sell. I never thought I'd be a performing musician, but in
Wow, how about
2009.
that? So tell me, you hear you do some parades, you do special events. What type of things are you involved with?
I am with parades, mostly solo at this point. I was with a pipe band and still am affiliated up north. And but I've done many parades and retirements, graduations, memorials, weddings, and surprise birthday parties.
Fantastic. Wow. So you actually can keep busy as a professional bagpiper.
Yes.
That
Believe
is-
it or not, you can.
That
You
is
can.
fantastic. So what brought you out here to the King's Crown today?
I have business on Google and a website that's pretty well linked out there, and so people find me, and the folks at Shell Point found me and gave me a call and said, hey, we've got a number of retirement communities we'd like you to do. Are you available? And so they were lucky because St. Patrick's Week is really booked up, and they got me in advance. So
Fantastic. Well, we're glad you came out. The folks really seem to enjoy it, and it's always interesting to hear the pipes.
that is definitely, and I'm glad people enjoy it. The skirl of the pipes, as they say. So
Well, thank you, Jim. Appreciate you being here.
hey, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
So we have Miranda here. She's a fairly new person in activities at the King's Crown. And Miranda, tell us, how did this bagpiper come about today?
Well, since St. Patty's Day was this month, we figured what better way to celebrate than with bagpipes. So we found him online and called him up, and he decided to play at all 3 assisted living facilities.
Oh, wow. Terrific. So is this the first or the last?
Hopefully it is the first, and hopefully there will be more.
Okay, terrific. Well, thanks for seeing to that happening here.
Yeah, no, thank you.
The Roman town of Pompeii in southern Italy lies close to the volcano Mount Vesuvius. It was a hot spot, pardon the pun, for wealthy Roman merchants and political figures who vacationed and built their estate homes there more than 1900 years ago. But then the volcano erupted, submerging the city, and, well, I'll let the teacher himself, Adrian Kier, tell you all about it and his upcoming academy class, which he spoke with Terry Kolath about.
Hello everyone, I'm here with Professor Adrian Kier. This semester he's taking us all over the place, the Middle East, England, Ireland. Now we're talking about Italy, and we're talking about Pompeii. Thank you for joining me, Adrian.
Thank you, Terry. It's always a pleasure to come to Shell Point.
And Pompeii, how Vesuvius opened a window into Roman life. How wonderful is that for us?
Although it was a terrible tragedy to the town of Pompeii near Naples, because it happened so suddenly, because it was so complete in the destruction of the city, it's actually cocooned the city to the point where it hadn't been raided for stones, which many sites have been destroyed because people take the stones for other building. It was covered in a layer of ash until in the last 150 years or so, the last 100 years, it's become to be excavated. And as they dug through the ash layers, they found this city, Roman city, frozen in time. And it's one of the most beautiful, extensive, surviving Roman cities that we have. And therefore, it's become very important in terms of historical and also tourism.
And that's what's so wonderful for us. How do we ever have had this kind of look into the past?
Yeah, you can go to Rome and you can see the grand buildings of Rome, but all the apart from palaces and temples and civic buildings, there's not much left of how the middle class, if you like, lived. It's all been covered over, it's been built over or destroyed. So here is a city which was a vacation city. It was the Las Vegas of Rome and Italy at the time. Really? People didn't live there permanently. That was their holiday homes. Of course, there were people who lived there to support the holiday homes, but this is where you went to in the summer to get away from the hot and steamy Rome, which is right on the Tiber, and malaria infested and short of food, and you could get away from that, travel down the coast on the slopes of this lovely mountain with sea breezes and enjoy the summer. That was the idea. And so it grew up as a summer vacation area. Never huge in terms of numbers, 15,000, 20,000 people, but what you want when you're on vacation, you want to be entertained. And so we have amphitheaters, we have a whole range of shops, baths, and the whole services, all sorts of services that people living there would want to while they're there. And it has the second largest amphitheater after the Colosseum. So a very interesting city, although not great in terms of importance to Rome, hence it wasn't rebuilt. It was nevertheless important because it's captured at that very moment when the eruption of Vesuvius took place, exactly what middle-class houses look like. And we have many, many wonderful houses. And the fascinating thing is, as you can see in this room, instead of having paintings or photographs on the wall, they had frescoes. So the wealthy people, they would decorate their dining rooms and their bedrooms and their common rooms with wonderful frescoes, the best artists in the world. And also inside these homes, you'd have water features, you'd have fish, you'd have fountains, you'd have sculptures, you'd have mosaics, the best mosaics at that time. There's one of Alexander, which is the most famous mosaic of Alexander. There's also the one which says, "Beware the dog" at the threshold. So there's a dog in a mosaic, it says, "Beware the dog," and so on. So it's a really wonderful insight into what middle-class life was like. And on the slightly steamier side, the poor people had to have bars, of course, and they had places of ill repute. And quite a few, too many, you would say, have actually survived. And that's another almost unique feature of Pompeii. You have the whole spectrum, everything from beautiful frescoes, beautiful mosaics, sculpture, lovely houses, through to Colosseum-type structures, and of course the seedy side of life as well. All has to be part of this great tapestry.
Interesting. And how sudden do you think it was? I mean, was it, the dishes on the table? People are having meals, people are...
It wasn't an immediate catastrophe. There were early signs that there was a rumbling from the volcano. In fact, about 10 years before, there had been an earthquake, and a third or so of Pompeii had not been rebuilt. So Pompeii was in decline. As you know, when you have a major disaster like an earthquake, it takes a long time to recover. And so some of the parts of Pompeii were still damaged from the earthquake. Then you have the early signs of an eruption, and people had time to escape. We have Pliny, who is an author. He was not far away, and he's an eyewitness account of what went on. And then it got serious. Lava started to come, but what really was the major issue for the people of Pompeii was the ash which came and carried on for 2 or 3 days and buried the city in 10 or 15 feet, and they could not survive that if they had stayed in the city. Why did so many people hide in the corners of their houses in a curled up fetus position was the question that all of us asked ourselves when we started to dig through the ash. We found the ash had formed a type of concrete. All the bones and flesh had rotted away, but they left a casing, and inside they've put plaster in, and therefore they broke the casing away. And there you could see people taking protection in a fetus position in the corner of their rooms. This clearly wasn't protecting them from ash that was falling from the sky. They were suffering from another feature of the eruption, which I will share with you on the day.
So you have to be there, and it will be worth your while if you can join Professor Adrian Kier for The Window into Roman Life in Pompeii. You can sign up right at the door.
And now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, academy news, menus, and village church connections, right after this preview of Listening to the Words with David Howenstein.
This week's Listening to the Words program opens by remembering the civil rights struggles of the 1960s. That includes some passionate words from an open letter Martin Luther King Jr. wrote from his Birmingham, Alabama jail cell. That's followed by a poem about race written by a Shell Point resident. Also in the program, you'll enjoy listening to a scary canoe ride remembered by another Shell Pointer. You'll also be taken back to 1968 when a 12-year-old took his first train ride alone into New York City's Madison Square Garden to watch a Knicks basketball game. You'll be inspired by an article about a cook and a janitor who teamed up to take care of the residents of an assisted living home by themselves for several days. The program wraps up with a tale set in Ireland and by some funny Irish snippets. This is David Howenstein inviting you and yours to the Listening to the Words program any day this week, played on Shell Point Channel 12. A new weekly program begins each Monday and is repeated twice each hour through Sunday.
Welcome everybody to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley and this is Caitlin Van Scoy, and we're going to go over the activities that we offer for you here today at Shell Point. We're going to start our activities off at 8 o'clock with the men's match play doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. You'll find virtual bowling at the Resident Activity Center at 8:45. And 9:15, we have billiards in the Resident Activity Center. Also, we have at 9:15, the Lollygaggers paddlers will be out at the kayak storage facility for a trip out. The pottery studio will be busy with instruction available also at 9:15. At 10 o'clock, the men's match play doubles tennis will be at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. The Susie Q heads to Matanzas on the Bay for lunch at 10 o'clock. You do need to sign up for those trips. At 10:30, the Disciple Men's Study Group will be in the game room at the Woodlands. At 10:45, the Table Tennis Clinic will be in the Tarpon Room on the island. And then at 11 o'clock, it's the Red Sox game. The court pickups begin at 11 o'clock on the island, 11:10 for the Woodlands, and 11:20 for Eagles Preserve and Estuary. That's currently full. And then we have a Health Connections class at 11:30, Specifics in Cardio Conditioning, and that's in the Health Club, and that's currently full. Now here's Caitlin, and she's going to go over the afternoon lineup.
Thanks, Bev. We're going to start the afternoon off with Mahjong at 12 p.m. That'll be in the Stable Room of the Woodlands. And at 1:15, we have Advanced Table Tennis in the Tarpon Room on the island. The Dragon Boat Racing informational meeting will be at 1:15 in the Social Center. Samba the Card Game will also be played at 1:15 in the Resident Activity Center. Tone Chimes will be gathering in the Osprey Room at 1:15. And from 1:30 to 3:30 today, the Model Train Room will be open for complimentary tours and viewing. 1:45, we have a Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1. That's in the Health Club, and it's currently full. The Beady-Eyed Weed Club will be in the Oak Room of the Woodlands at 2 o'clock. And we have a Health Connections class, Pilates Stretch. That'll be in the Health Club, and that's at 3 o'clock. The Shell Point Singers Rehearsal is at 3:15. That'll be in the Choir Room of the Village Church. We have a Health Connections class at 3:30, Aqua Agility and Conditioning. That's at the LifeQuest Aquatic Center. Pickleball will be played at the Pickleball Courts at 4 o'clock. And sign up for the singles table at the Crystal at 5:30. We have a community concert series at Barbara B. Mann Theater. Court pickups start at 6:15 on the island, 6:25 Woodlands, and 6:35 Eagles Preserve and Estuary. Duplicate Bridge will be played in the game room of the Woodlands at 6:30. And at 7 o'clock, we have our spring dance in the Grand Cypress Room, and you do need to sign up for that and at either service desk. 7 o'clock is time for square dancing. That'll be in the Health Club, and that's our last activity of the day. Well, it was so nice to see you here today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Koleth with your Academy information for Monday, March 23rd. At 10:15, Crossing Cultural Barriers will begin in the Social Center on the island. Sign up is required. At 10:15, our Apple, iPhones, iPod Touch, and iPad digital photography class continues in the Manatee Room on the island. At 10:30, Anatomy of Words meets in the Oak Room at the Woodlands, and they welcome everyone.
Menus for Monday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is jerk chicken with mixed grilled vegetables and jeweled rice. The dinner special is Ole Home Cooking Night for $11.95, and the soup of the day is tomato. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a Philly cheesesteak panini with chips for $7.25. The dinner special is tuna cakes with yellow rice and grilled pineapple for $8.25. And the Palm Grill is closed on Mondays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm Andy Hawkins, the senior pastor of the Village Church, and I'm here with Glenda Stephenson, our administrator. And Glenda, we have a very special program to tell the folks about that is taking place. We're about a week away from Holy Week, and among the many activities that we have planned for Holy Week, we have a special model Seder meal that people can taste and experience and enjoy and learn something about that kind of meal as it unfolded during the first century. And it tells us a little bit about the nature of it, the activity that's planned for it, and some of the details about it.
This is symbolic of a Passover meal, which is a celebration of the nation of Israel leaving Egypt. And so everything that is done during the course of the meal has a symbolic meaning behind it, and we're going to explore that together.
I see.
This will take place on March the 31st, Tuesday afternoon at 2:45 in the afternoon in our auditorium. We will be around round tables, and we will have a setting of all of the various elements of the meal and be able to taste that as we walk through the process of the meal and what it all means. So you're right, we have not done this recently, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and of course, folks might wonder, well, why would we as a Christian community, as a Christian church, actually be doing what is very traditionally a Jewish meal, and certainly we delight in that tradition that our Jewish friends have. But of course, there is some theological significance because Jesus took that meal and then he sort of transformed it into what we understand to be the Lord's Supper, and he became the sacrificial lamb of that meal, and so he's become our Passover, so to speak. So the richness of the Jewish traditions with respect to the Seder then enrich our understanding of the person and work of Christ, especially during this time in Holy Week.
And I think that will be very evident as we celebrate this together, so that's exciting.
Absolutely, yeah. And so we actually want people to register for this, right? It's without cost, but people do need to make a reservation. Is that correct?
We are asking that they RSVP to the church office by the end of the day tomorrow, the 24th, at 454-2147. And this will just help us know how to prepare and how to plan for those that are coming so that we can make this a meaningful time.
That's great. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. It's been, I think I did this one time many years ago, and so I'm really looking forward to the activity, and I'm sure our people will as well. And it's open to the community. It's not just reserved for people that attend the Village Church. Anybody who might be interested in coming, they can contact the church office, put in a reservation, and I think it'll be a deeply meaningful experience, and one of the many things that we're doing during Holy Week.
You're right, and I guess we should mention Carol Joseph is coming from New York, and she is actually the one that will be leading us through this celebration. So special guests that will be part of the process as well.
Absolutely, she really knows what it's all about, and we're looking forward to learning a lot.
You're right.
That's great. Well, thanks for sharing that with us and with these folks, and we trust that you'll join us once again during the many Holy Week activities for this model Seder. It'll be taking place on Tuesday of Holy Week, 2:45 in the church Village Church Auditorium. And all you need to do is to call the church office and make a reservation. If you can do that by tomorrow, that would really be helpful. So blessings to each and every one of you. We hope to see you soon.
Thanks for joining us on Shell Point today. Tune in tomorrow when Melody Desolé will talk to us about the upcoming Photo Show Gala. And we'll see some highlight pics of the Resident and Staff Tennis Challenge that took place earlier this month. Until then, this is ShellPoint Today for Monday, March 23rd. I'm Adam Brown, and from all of us here at ShellPoint TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.